Almost live. We're live.
Will, do you have any pets?
I do. I have a ferocious, beautiful dog.
What type of dog?
He's a lab mastiff mix. He's a big boy, about 100 pounds.
Is he a good dog?
Oh, he's a great dog.
And what constitutes like a bad dog?
Having a face where you are bred where you can't breathe, like a bulldog. They can't even breathe out of their face.
You don't like bulldogs?
What are you trying to say?
What kind of dog is this? Disgusting.
Oh,
this is Otto. Otto is a bulldog. You guys ever met Otto before? He is a mascot for PragerU. And the reason why...
The star of Fireside Chat, mind
Star
you.
of Fireside
Chat. You may
Chat.
have seen him.
The reason why Chris is sweating in this dog costume is because we have a new book here for you guys. It's called Otto's Tales. It is a children's book now through PragerU where you guys can get this on Amazon. It is only $10. $10? What is $10? What can $10 give you? Maybe a
pack of mints, according to Amala.
Yeah, according to me,
you watched yesterday's stream, you know that.
Or maybe a nice dog treat for your human dog friend.
Right.
Something like that. But it's only $10, and I want to show you guys this real quick. So we are the #2... Taylor, put up on the screen.
Gotcha.
We are the #2 children's book on Amazon now. We reached the #2 children's book. We're just behind Dude Perfect. If you guys know Dude Perfect, they're kind of like a trick shot channel. I'm going to try and trick shot.
Oh, Taylor.
Wow. Trick shot. Hit Taylor in the
hit
face
my
with
head
it.
while I was looking at the
But guys,
laptop, so
make
it
sure you go to
shouldn't
Amazon. We're dropping the link down in the comments below right now, and make sure that you buy the book. It's a fantastic read. Even I can understand it. You guys are really going to enjoy it for you and your children.
If Will can understand it, literally anybody can.
That's actually true. Guys, we have a very special day today. We got a lot of cool stories coming up. And also, it's Amala's birthday.
Hey.
Did you guys know that? Amala turned 14 today. And in celebration...
Are you guys kidding
We got her some things. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. Come into the camera, guys. We got her some very nice stuff. Happy birthday, Amala.
You guys are so sweet.
All right, now we're gonna sing you happy birthday. All of you guys in the comments, sing with us, please. All right. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
She can't handle it.
Happy birthday, dear Amala. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, guys.
Happy birthday, Amala.
You're so sweet. I kind of want to expose you for what you did to me here.
You can do it if you want.
Okay,
I got this
guys.
cake this morning.
So Will knows something about me, and really the PragerU team knows something about me that none of you know about me, and it's that Amala is my middle name, okay? And if you want to know what my first name is, it is...
Wait, I thought you said you were gonna expose Will, and now you're like about to out your
I'm gonna expose
unexposable.
myself because I can't help but laugh at this cake. My first name is actually... Dun, 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 Susan. Can you guys see?
Can you believe that?
I dislike it. Because
I don't like
think, I don't like it, as Will would say. And Will has now exposed me by putting this on my cake, and he makes fun of me by calling me Susan all the time.
Well, it's a white name.
Yeah.
It's a pretty white name.
It is, yeah. It's like just an older person's name, and I don't feel like Susan is an example of who I am as a person. I've always gone by Amala since the day I was born, but Will likes to troll me by putting Susan on things.
I thought you'd like it. I thought you'd enjoy it.
I did enjoy it. I did laugh.
Good.
So
we don't have any forks or anything to eat this right now. But everyone, wish Amala a happy birthday. And if you really want to help her out for her birthday, buy the Otto's Tale book.
Yeah.
For Amala's birthday. Do it for her.
There's
okay?
nothing that I want more in this world than for you to have a copy of Otto's Tales.
And when my book comes out, or when it's my birthday, I hope you all buy my book for my birthday.
Exactly.
And also fill out our live stream survey for Amala's birthday.
Yes.
Which the link is
if anything,
in the
just tell
comments.
us that you like the stream by filling out our survey.
Put your birthday message in the live stream survey comment. There you go.
Exactly. Exactly, guys.
All right, guys, let's get into some of these stories. That's enough. All of you simps in the chat.
Too much
swooning over
happiness
Amala
and joy.
right
Will's got to move us on.
Yeah, I'm tired of all this happiness. Our streams are supposed to be upsetting with the news of the day. There's probably people in here right now who are like, just tell us what's going wrong in the world. We don't care that it's Amalia's birthday.
Amalia.
We don't care it's Susan's birthday.
Yeah, who cares about who's Susan? All right, let's go into the first story of the day. The first one we want to talk about was Chrissy Teigen.
Woo.
Chrissy Teigen is trending again. You know her?
You dislike her?
You don't like it? And she tells you to kill yourself.
Yes, she does.
If you know her personally. You want to go through the story?
Yeah, so Michael Costello of Project Runway, he's a pretty well-known designer now at this point, especially after this controversy has come out, has said that Chrissy Teigen went after him and really told him to kill himself, as we are now learning is Chrissy Teigen's MO. That's what she likes to tell people. So she came out against this designer for some false allegations. She had thought that he had said some sort of racial slur and done something problematic within his own life, which was not true. It was all false. She came after him. She said that she wanted him to suffer and die and kill himself and all that fun stuff. You know these colloquialisms that we say to everybody. I often tell Will to kill himself.
You do, but it's in an endearing way. It's in a nice way. Like you're so great, the rest of the world gets so envious that you should just put them out of their misery by doing this to yourself.
Right. It's something we all say, right, ladies and gentlemen? Put down in the chat if you've ever told somebody to kill themselves, because kudos to you, because that's what Chrissy Teigen does. Now, this guy's come out and said, you know what? After you told me that and after you essentially ruined my career, blacklisted me, I did have thoughts of killing myself. I could not work in the industry of which I loved. I had a lot of trouble getting jobs. People disliked me because of you, and she's under more fire now because of this.
It is interesting that after, what was it, 7 years now that this happened, that fake racial slur came out. It's like now they figure it out, and now they see that this is all changed, and it's like he's doing very well regardless of this.
Right.
But people, again, don't wait for the real story. So this guy put out a racial slur that they said. It's the same thing with those Covington kids. The Covington kid, Nick Sandman, who eventually sued CNN for millions of dollars because they lied about him before getting all the information. This is what so many people on the left do. They will lie about people to get a quick feeling of either euphoria or a way to get them known on social media by saying horrible things about people before getting all the research out there. And that's one of the biggest things that's wrong with cancel culture, in a sense. Not Chrissy Teigen being canceled is a different type of thing. This is for the first guy. It's like, instead of looking at like, why did he say this? Or did this even happen the way that it did? They just go out and do it because they want to get the clout of other people thinking they're so virtuous for calling this person out in the first place.
Right, and that's what she did. And she did it in a very, very extreme way. One, that if he would have followed through and actually harmed himself or committed suicide, she would be facing liability for this. So not only did she ask him to kill himself, she sent him a message saying that his career was over and that all doors that would be open to him would be shut from here on out. And a person of her influence is perfectly capable of doing something like that to a person. And all of this over a photoshopped tweet that she thought that he had said.
And I guess afterwards she also like talked to other celebrities and other designers and things like that and told them never work with this guy again. So not just saying something to him personally, but going out of her way to talk to other people and say never work with this person again. This person is horrible. This person evil, racist. It's always the people, you see this with the left all the time, it's always the people who cast the most amount of shade or who try and be the rudest or the most virtuous at the same time, who are the ones who are usually the worst types of people. The people who want to come out and say, you did this, I'm going to point my finger at you and say, you're so horrible, are the ones who, if they took a mirror to themselves, they are the worst people, actually. They're the ones doing the most disgusting things that there are.
Right. And when it comes to cancel culture with a thing like this, I mean, it's a totally different scenario here. Not only did she bully somebody, ask them to kill themselves, but it's actually a crime in cases of which people actually follow through with what you say. And she's done this to not only this designer, but to underage girls. She's done this many, many times before. This seems to be a trend for Chrissy Teigen. And all of a sudden, she's receiving the same cancel culture of which she has contributed to time and time again in the past. So it is kind of nice to see somebody get their own medicine.
Yeah, there's a difference, I think, between the cancel culture and this, because you are getting, it's a sense of getting a taste of your own medicine. This isn't like us just going out of our way to say, Chrissy Teigen, never work with her again or anything like that. It's only because she came out and tried to cancel someone beforehand and doing it in a pretty horrible, unjust way, I would say. And now getting canceled herself is like, okay, that's a different type of thing. You kind of did this to yourself.
Yeah, that's called like responsibility for your actions or accountability for your actions. Like, I don't know if we showed the actual messages that she sent him that he posted on social media, but she said, good, racist people like you deserve to suffer and die. You might as well be dead. Your career is over. Just watch.
Right.
So, going after Chrissy now, like, I take no pleasure in the fact that she's done this and that she's, eating her own medicine now. Like, that doesn't make me feel happy. This is a very serious thing, and like we're kind of laughing and making light of it, but it's a serious thing to like A, try to cancel someone in the first place based on a lie, and then B, tell them to kill themselves. Like that's like, you deserve the backlash she's getting, and that's not cancel culture coming after Chrissy. That's called accountability.
I don't know. I got you leftists in my mentions on Twitter and in my messages telling me to kill myself too. I just posted one the other day of some kid who posted it, said like, kill yourself, loser, or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. But people can be very brutally, and like that doesn't really affect me too much. But I understand how it's like, if this is someone who you hold to some sort of esteem, who has a lot of connections, who is someone who you looked up to, and then they tell you to do this just out of the blue and then also try and cancel your entire career. That's a horrible thing to happen to someone.
Right, and let's make the distinction that a lot of the cancel culture that we see now with celebrities and people who are esteemed within our society has to do with their views. It's leftists saying, oh, this person's a conservative, or this person's anti this policy, and then they're going out to cancel him. It's a totally different thing to quote unquote cancel somebody when they have committed an actual totally different ballgame. Yeah. I mean, look at Michelle Carter, the girl who convinced her boyfriend to kill himself, and he actually followed through with it. She's in jail. It is a jailable offense. It's not in any way the same ballpark as having different views as somebody. She committed a crime.
Yeah, that's like what we were talking about yesterday with the different types of cancel culture.
Right.
Where you have like the type of like, oh, I'm a conservative, I come out in Hollywood or whatever, and then people try to cancel me for my views, versus like the people who are just trying to look at people for something they did a long time ago. But now that I guess thinking about it now, there's like this third option, which is like, oh, if you committed like an actual crime and someone is saying you committed a crime and this happened, then yeah, that's a horrible thing. It's not even canceled.
No.
It's not even like, I don't even want to use the word canceled, because I don't want normal everyday people to come on and dogpile this person. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I am saying that if this is something that is considered a crime, we are bringing it to light, and then law enforcement or whatever, I'm not going to speak out and say exactly what it is, but you know, if that's the case, then people will take care of the situation and say this happened and we're going to take care of it.
Right. It should be treated differently.
Right. It's a different type of situation for sure. So I don't like it.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. Someone in the comments said we should put that on a coffee mug. If any of you guys can put "I don't like it" from Will Witt on a coffee mug, send it to us at PragerU.com/contact. There you can find our P.O. box. And also you guys can send us fan mail there.
Right.
You guys, I get a lot of fan mail from you guys. It's very cool artwork and all sorts of stuff. If you go to PragerU.com/contact.
Send Amala a birthday card.
Yeah, send Amala a birthday card. But don't you men out there, don't be creepy.
Nothing weird.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't be weird.
Yeah, don't be weird. All right? Because I'm going to see it first.
That is true. We'll see it first.
I will open it first and then give it to her. Okay? So don't make it weird.
We'll protect me. I'll tell you a story. We went out to lunch the other day, and this guy like walks up and says some very ghetto young man.
Ratchet.
Yes, very ghetto young man. Said something to hit on me, and Will just like stepped in front and was like, no.
Not today.
Not today. The guy was not happy about it.
No, he was not. Well, this was going to happen. You know.
So yeah, that's my.
I would do the same thing to Taylor.
Look, we have to protect our 14-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly.
So
we have to protect our innocence.
Our resident children.
All right, let's move on from the Chrissy Teigen one.
Yeah.
All right. Amala, did you know that today is #TransMenAreRealMen Day on Twitter?
I did see that this morning. I opened up Twitter and I said, "What's trending?" And it was "Trans men are real men."
I don't understand why this is trending.
I don't understand why it's trending either.
Why? Does anyone, maybe if you're in the comments, know, was there something that happened to push this on our Twitter feeds today?
From my understanding, some big person on Twitter tweeted out, "Let's appreciate trans men today," and it just started trending.
Cool. Listen, trend all you like, all right? We want to go through this image today because we went through and it was honestly quite strange to go through many of the images that were on this hashtag today.
Right.
It was whatever. We're going to go through this image. This is the one we decided on to talk about because I think that this is pretty indicative of the whole situation in general and what it actually means to accept this new type of language and culture and what they want to redefine the world as. So you guys might have seen that like Drake meme of him saying yes and then no. So this one is like, he's saying no here. He says, forcing yourself to conform to stereotypical masculinity in order to be a real man, versus the good guy says, realizing you're already a real man no matter what, and you can create your own idea of what masculinity is without needing to be bound by stereotypes of what men are supposed to be.
It just cripples my brain. I'm going to be honest. It is brain crippling
Why is it brain crippling?
It's just because if there's no definition of what it means to be a man, then it means nothing. There's no man. What's a man? It's like you can't identify as something and then say it has no objective definition.
Yeah, I don't like redefining all of these terms. Like men wearing dresses, men eating sushi. Like these are things that are pretty feminine traits.
Why would you go to sushi? That's such a Will always has some random aside.
I'm just saying. Okay.
Makes a mountain out of a
Okay,
molehill.
but like men wearing a dress, like the Harry Styles thing, and he comes on and he says, "This is redefining masculinity." It's like, no, it's not. You are embracing femininity. You can say that. You can say, I am a man and I'm embracing femininity. I want to wear this dress and I'm going to embrace femininity. Cool, man. Do your thing. All the dudes in the 80s, like rock stars and all sorts of people, Brad Pitt did it. They never called it masculinity. They just said, I'm doing something kind of zany and whatever. Like,
right.
Okay, fine. But don't call it masculinity because it's not. No one looks at you in a dress and says you are masculine. Masculinity has a definition where you are a leader, you are strong, you are responsible, you are courageous. You put yourself in situations that may be uncomfortable because you want to do something that is good. That is what masculinity is about, right? Not about wearing a dress. And it's definitely not about redefining the term. Why do people want to redefine the term? Because if you don't have these terms, then it means that gender and sex and all these things mean nothing. But they do mean something. And when you make all of these things mean nothing, it means, okay, let's take the nuclear family, totally redefine it and get rid of it. That's what's happening. When you can make all of these terms like man and woman and father and masculinity and femininity mean nothing, then you take the nuclear family and you basically turn it into crap. Because none of those terms of actually defining a family hold any sort of weight.
They don't. And the same thing goes for the flip of the coin when we look at it from a feminine perspective. And a lot of feminists out here will say like, oh, I don't want a family. I don't want a man. I don't need a man. I don't want any of that. I'm a very dominant person. I just want to do my job. I want to slave away to my career. I want to be me. I want to go on trips. I want to do that. And that's okay. If you think that's the life for you, that's fine. But don't then sell it to me and market to me as if that is a feminine thing to do. It is not, except that you are doing something that is traditionally masculine and say that's just who I am and then move on. Do not talk to young girls and say, this is just what women do. That's what they do. It's biologically innate. That's what women do. It is not biologically innate for women to do that, except that you are doing something masculine.
Right, and this doesn't mean that men, every single thing you do has to be some macho man mentality where it's like, oh, I'm going to eat steak every single meal, and I'm going to drive a truck and spit tobacco and be a frickin' man all damn day. Like, that's not what this is about. It is about knowing the traits that are masculine and saying, okay, I am going to promote these things as masculinity, and I can have some wavering things here and there. That's what human existence is all about. And but it is a defined thing. And that if you want to preserve America, then you push for the defined definitions of what these words mean. And you embrace them. We should be embracing that masculinity is a good thing, femininity is a good thing, and the people who represent them are good for doing so.
Right, and it's not just something that you get to brush off. And Jordan Peterson talks about that a lot, representing masculinity as a man and representing femininity as a woman. And it is known, it is studied, there's perfectly good data and analysis on this, that men and women who choose to diverge from their biological incentives and do things, women who do things more masculine and men who do things more feminine, are unhappier. It's just true.
Right. It's like, Jordan Peterson talks about like the countries who like a Sweden who depends or who pushes for gender equality as one of their main missions. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, but they still, even with all this gender equality at the forefront of their society, they still have 20-to-1 female to male nurses and 1-to-20 female to male engineers. Even with all the opportunities the same, all of these different ways that anyone can get into the field, it's like, this is just how people naturally are. They choose these things. Like, it is biologically inside of you to be masculine as a man, biologically inside of you to be feminine as a woman. That's just how it is. I get it. People stray from different things. Some person in the comments right now is probably like, I'm a woman and I work on an oil rig. Don't tell me what to do. It's like, okay,
sure,
lady, like, sure.
That's great.
That's great, okay?
But you're doing something masculine.
You are doing something masculine.
Yes.
Okay? Even if it is, you're a woman.
We have a comment from Malo, M-A-L-O. He says, this is the conversation of our time. Thank you. I'm a gay man, and I support 100% of what you say. So...
Thank you, Malo.
Not as controversial, maybe, as we thought.
No.
I think generally people probably see through the idiocy of trying to redefine these terms and erase the idea of masculinity and femininity of itself. Like, and I think so much of the confusion right now is people are like, oh, I'm rejecting this binary thinking of masculine and feminine. But if you don't have that, like, masculinity is a thing, femininity is a thing. You can behave, or you can like be a man with feminine traits or be a woman with masculine traits, but we need those different poles, those different sides to be able to place where that behavior is. Whenever you take away those terms entirely or redefine them to mean nothing, that masculinity can be anything, femininity can be anything, that's the recipe for absolute confusion and chaos. And that's why people are miserable and don't know who they are, because they're no longer able to place themselves on that spectrum.
Right.
It's not that gender is a spectrum. It's that masculinity and femininity are real things and poles, and your behavior can be located anywhere on that line.
And that's why I take such issue with the whole leftist campaign of we need to raise boys and girls the same. No, you don't. They have biological differences that make them different in their character, different in their choices. We do not raise boys and girls the same. We raise them to promote and use their biological traits in a way that is going to make them successful and make them have a happy life. And when you diverge from that and you start to blur the lines of what it means to be a man and what it means to be a woman, you are raising unhappy children.
I don't like. You have to. If you have ever had, if you're a boy out there and you've had a sister, or you're a mother and you've had a son and a daughter, you know how wildly different they are. I mean, I grew up with my sister. We're Irish twins, so we're less than a year apart. So pretty much everything is exactly the same, our circumstances and everything. And she would be wanting to, do something with her dollhouse or whatever. And I wanted to chew my Pop-Tart into the shape of a gun and pretend I was shooting people with it. Right. It's like we are totally different. That's just how men and women are. It's totally different. You can't treat us like we're the same.
And the more developed a society gets, the more that those biological differences shine through. The more freedom and liberty you have, the more inclined men are to do masculine things and choose masculine routes, and the more inclined females are to do feminine things. And that has been proven time and time again. Yet we as a culture are subscribing to these ideologies of being female doesn't mean anything and being male doesn't mean anything, and you can be whatever you want to be, and at the same time that means you can be nothing at all. So we are going to blur the lines so far to where they don't exist. We're going to be this homogenous, genderless, gender role-less society that has no direction, no path.
Right. And if you have to make such a big deal about it to where you're forcing this to trend on Twitter, every company is putting pride flags as their avatar as long as they're not in the Middle East. And what are you guys looking at? You're like,
no, it's this picture that I just found on the hashtag.
Oh gosh. I'm showing it. I hope that's okay with you guys.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's not.
What am I even looking at right now?
It's a furry.
Yes.
It's a
trans furry.
Trans furry cat.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Anyways, Taylor, continue your thought.
Yeah, that's my point. Is this stuff is not natural, and it's not what happens when you let societies let people be free, when you let kids be kids, when you let societies not have social engineering, but let just people become themselves and behave the way that they're created to behave. You don't see this stuff. You have to push this on children. You have to push this and try to indoctrinate people with it. You have to force it to trend, and that's how backwards our society is right now, to where we're living in this false reality that's constantly being pushed, and okay, this is the way reality is, this is the way people are, and it's simply not true, and everyone knows it, but you get virtue points by pretending to participate or not, or you get called out if you try to push back. And that's what we're trying to do on this podcast and with PragerU in general, is to say, you're not crazy, people. This, you're not alone. Using your own mind and being honest with your own thoughts, that's okay. You can think for yourself and see through this nonsense.
This show is the show where we say things that everyone is thinking but won't say, and we just say
true.
Okay, we just say it. I get in trouble for this because I say things that are on my mind.
Yeah.
Sometimes after the show, my mom definitely, she'll text me and say, "You shouldn't have said that." I'll say, whatever, okay? I'm a man of the people.
You're very blunt.
I'm very blunt.
You're very blunt.
I say what I want to say. That's just how I am. But anyway, I don't know why that's trending. It is trending. We got to talk about it. So, more power to you, whatever you want to do. But don't try and redefine everything and make me have to redefine everything for you.
And
it's not my job to cater to your delusions whatsoever. I am going to continue to say masculinity is this, femininity is this, and if you want to say that it's not, I am going to battle you on it.
Right.
Tooth and nail.
Side note here, do not ever call somebody a cis woman or a cis man. There's no such thing. There are women and there are men, and anybody who wants to deviate from something else is doing something that is not within those two binary things. So that's just a little pet peeve of mine. I hate when people use the term cis woman, and it's because the extreme left has gone so far to redefining terms that we feel the need to redefine things of which have always been true for us. So no, don't move your post. I'm a woman. Will's a man.
Wait, what does cis mean?
Cis
Doesn't
means
that mean
you were
straight?
born a woman. Yeah, no. Cis means that you were born. I was born a woman. It means that you were born a man.
As you don't want to be called that.
No, because I'm just a regular.
No,
I'm a woman.
It's
Right.
a
No, I
word
get it.
game
I get
that
it.
they
Okay.
Yeah.
I know.
play.
I get it. Okay.
It's
Okay.
a qualifier, and it's like if we start using these qualifiers in our everyday language, which you should never do, and don't allow anybody to call you that either. Correct people when they call you that. We've moved the post for them.
I know. I will debate people on campuses sometimes,
Yeah.
and they'll call me a cis, straight white man.
Yeah, no, not for me.
I'm like, get out of here, friend. I'm like, don't call me friend, pal.
Don't call me pal,
buddy. Anyway, don't call me cis, trans.
Yeah, I feel that. I get that on so many levels. When you start changing a language and trying to mandate language and change words, that's when you get on my bad side with that stuff.
I agree. Speaking of changing
Yeah, or not allowing.
or
to
not
change.
allowing to change, Hungary lawmakers passed law barring LGBT content for minors. So, this is lawmakers in Hungary passed legislation Tuesday that prohibits sharing with minors any content that portrays being gay or transgender. Whoa, something supporters said would help fight pedophilia, but which human rights groups denounce as anti-LGBT discrimination. I want to hear what you guys in the comments think about this, if you think that it's right or the wrong thing to do. Hungary is a country that has been through a lot, as anyone who knows world history, especially the Cold War history in Russia and their takeover of, making countries communist and all of that. So they've been through a lot. They know what hard times are like. They know what struggles are like. And I think that they see what's happening in countries like the US, like the UK, and they say, we don't want any of this, okay? We don't want to teach this to our kids. We don't want people to be so influenced by it. You can do it when you're above 18. You're a consenting adult. Go do your own thing. But
Right.
as a child who's being funded by by schools that are being publicly funded by people's tax dollars, we aren't going to push this on people. I don't see how this is such a horrible idea. It's one thing to let people know about it
Right.
and say, okay, this happens in the world, versus one thing to influence people with it, teach people it, and say, you should be this.
Can we make school for school again? Because I feel like it is just this propaganda machine. That's all that public schools are right now. It's like, when was the last time you heard about your kid actually learning math in school? It's like I go online and I hear all this stuff about critical race theory, about gender, about sexuality. I see all these pornographic images that little kids are being shown in their public schools. I'm not hearing anything about actual curriculum, actual education. So honestly, this is a good move. Good move. Your kids should not have to worry about this within their school. They should not have to worry about seeing content like this when they go to be taught and have an education.
Hungary's National Assembly passed the bill on a 157-1 vote.
Based.
Holy base. The ruling Fidesz party has a parliamentary majority, and lawmakers from the right-wing Jobbik party also endorsed the measure. One independent lawmaker voted against it. Oh.
Clown.
One guy.
All other opposition parties boycotted the voting session in protest. Human rights groups have denounced the measure strongly, seeing it as a tool that could be used to stigmatize and harass residents because of their sexual orientations and gender identities. Again, that has nothing to even do with teaching it to children, saying that is stigmatizing people or is going to harass people. It has nothing to do with that.
Right.
You are taking it out of school so that people don't have to deal with that.
Right.
Okay? So that people aren't going to be harassed and stigmatized because kids who aren't sexually mature in that way, aren't knowing anything about it, right?
It's like, it would be one thing if they're like, we are going to actively teach anti-LGBTQ curriculum in our schools. All they're saying is, we're not going to talk about it. This is not the place. This is not the time. You as parents get to decide with your own kids who are under the age of 18 whether or not you want to talk about it, what you want to tell them about it. It is not our responsibility as a functioning institution within this country to teach your kids these issues, which it is not. A school should never be touching issues like this. They have no place, they have no right, and there's no reason to do that.
It included this amendment. It included amendments that ban the representation of any sexual orientation besides heterosexual, as well as gender change information in school sex education programs or in films and advertisements aimed at anyone under 18.
Right.
I know when I went through school. I mean, I took sex ed in I think 5th grade. I think it was something like that. The first time that I took it. I don't know when you guys did it.
Probably around that time.
Probably around that time. And we didn't know anything about gay sex or trannies, transgender stuff, anything like that. You know? And none of that came up. None of that was in the lexicon at all. We just talked about here's what happens when it gets excited, blood comes in, whatever, like what you normally learn as a kid. It's sex or sexual education.
Right.
Giggle.
Yeah, and then all the little boys giggle and we're like, oh, they're talking about penises. It's like that's what it is. No one was talking about any of this weird sexual stuff. She wasn't telling it to us in a way that's like a sexualization of children.
Yeah, no.
Which it seems like to be now with all of these different things.
Oh, yeah. We did a segment, Jill and I, who's our PragerU Kids coordinator, we did a segment where they went over a teacher, a parent showing up to a school board, showing what they're teaching kids. And it is straight up pornography in the kids' books that they are getting. And the title of the book is It's Perfectly Normal or something like that. And that is being shown to kids as young as 5 years old. That is completely so far beyond what we should be doing in our schools. When I was in school, probably around, 3rd, 5th grade when we did sex education, boys and girls went to separate rooms. We had our own separate discussions about it. We had a female teacher go over it with the girls. We had a male teacher go over it with the boys. That's how it should be.
Yeah, mine was just a female teacher.
Interesting.
But, yeah.
It's awkward silence.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like,
but it was fine. I mean, I don't know.
No, it's fine.
Maybe
it doesn't
I was
matter.
in 5th grade. I didn't know any better. I could have just been stupid. She also liked Lord of the Rings. I remember. So that kind of.
Then you're like,
I
this is
really
great.
liked her. So that, she was great.
Yeah, well, go Hungary. I'll give a few claps for Hungary.
Yeah. All right, last video of the day. This is a video from NASA. NASA stands for National Association of. I was trying to think of a joke. It didn't work. Okay. All right. I was trying to think of a joke. They're now doing a whole equity thing.
Of systemic affirmative action.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Space
guys.
racist. Okay, watch this video from NASA.
At NASA, we're on a mission of equity, launching opportunity.
Equal opportunity to challenge and inspire.
I'm just counting all the different races that we see in this video before we get through it. So I've got 2 so far. Let's keep going.
Learn and thrive.
To reach those we've never reached before.
To use science, data, and technology to advance equity.
To shatter boundaries.
And break down barriers across America.
To create a better future. We hope you'll join us on this mission.
Wow. Do you guys want to join NASA after that?
I don't know if I'm black enough.
Will's not represented at NASA, so he can't.
There was one guy, Mr. What was his name? Reed Watkins?
Reed something.
Here's what I counted.
That was my boy right there.
Asian, white, Indian, Muslim, Latino, and I think that was it.
Black.
And black, yes, Victor Glover, okay?
And white.
And white.
Yeah.
So we got 7 races.
She said white already.
Oh, I said white? Oh, he's like
Counting
put
white
in 2
twice,
breaths.
you white supremacist.
So,
White.
and I can't say whether or not they were male or female because that's misgendering, so I won't even step into that.
No, good idea. Good plan.
Right.
Hungary wouldn't like that.
Don't step in the hot water.
Yeah, what a wild video. Apparently space is racist.
Right.
When you are going up into the stratosphere and researching all the moon rocks and putting up satellites, the only way you can do that is if you're a minority or a woman.
Yes. Or a woman.
I guess being a woman is a minority. Even though it's half of the population.
I guess it is because we live in a patriarchy, apparently.
Yeah, I guess so. It's not really a minority. Anyway, you know what I mean. Like, it's. Don't we want the best people to work at NASA?
Right.
Not saying the minorities can't be the best people, but you don't hire people based on their diversity. You hire them on whether or not they're a good astronaut or a good mathematician. I mean, the people who are doing this are all nerds, okay? If you're an astronaut, like
Right.
you have to be the biggest nerd on the planet.
Right.
You know how much math and stuff you have to do? It's incredibly difficult. So to be in that position, to go through all of this and know all this stuff about math and science and the physics of how to get a rocket to go up into space, it's so difficult.
I'm just thinking about like the spacecraft is crashing and they're like, guys, I'm so glad we have a black guy on this.
Yeah.
I'm so glad there's an Asian representation on this spacecraft.
I know.
It's like, oh, it's so ridiculous. And the red flag should have been when the ad started and it said mission equity. Whenever you hear the word equity, you should already know everything they're going to say, everything they're going to show you is absolute BS.
I know. Just like minorities who totally failed the space exams, who they're letting in just for diversity hires.
That happens. It happens. It's like when you base things off of parameters like skin color and gender, you are putting yourself in a position of where you are not going to get the most qualified people to do the job of which you are asking them to do, because that requires an extreme amount of regulation. If you are going to regulate how many women and how many men you put into a position, or how many black people, how many Asian people, how many Hispanic people, there is going to be a problem. You are automatically discounting a bunch of people who will be overly qualified to do the position that you want purely because they don't represent the look that you're going for.
All of the new rockets are going to have gay pride flags on them. They're all going to be rainbows shooting up into space. They're going to be falling apart. It's just going to be like the minorities and all these people like with hammers and nails, like trying to nail everything back into place.
They're like, at least we were inclusive.
We're going to die inclusive. Die together. Horrible.
That is horrible.
Have you seen the movie Armageddon?
I haven't.
Have you seen it, Taylor?
Like way back when it
Way
came
back
out,
ago.
yeah.
But like that movie was very diverse. And they were the best of the best.
Well,
And
that's
they
the thing
stopped an
about
asteroid
diversity
from
is-
hitting the Earth.
it's like you want, like, it's diversity is a great thing whenever like people that of various races and whatever happen to become qualified for
Right.
whatever it is you're doing. But whenever you punish people who are qualified to put underqualified people just because of their skin color, that's called racism. That's
Right.
not and so like diversity isn't like so good that it justifies racism.
Right.
That
Well, I don't think
racism is still racism.
I don't
Diversity
think
of thought.
Well,
is
even,
important.
like, I don't
Even I'm
think
not even pro diversity of thought
I'm not
anymore because some
pro-diversity.
ideas are better than others, and so you want the best ideas to win.
Well, yeah.
Being pro-diversity is like a way that the left like fools conservatives into,
Right.
into like thinking this way, thinking in terms of their argument. It's like if you had a family, like Tucker Carlson talks about this in his book. It's so good. It's one of the best parts of his book if you guys haven't read it. But like if you had a family and everyone in your family was diverse or had diverse values, does that make you a good family? No. Like you're going to be horrible together if your entire family has different values and they can't get along. Why is diversity labeled as the most the heralded as the biggest virtue there is? If you are so diverse, then you are going to be best. It's like I think in a lot of ways, like diversity isn't the best.
It could be
like,
problematic.
It's almost like the worst. Like the best thing
Yeah.
is like if you guys all share similar values,
Right.
that's what's most important. And but these people are thinking in when talking about diversity, they're thinking in things like race and gender and like sexual orientation.
They take the values out of it. They take shared values out of it and make it purely around people's immutable characteristics, and that's racist. That's
and then
wrong.
it's like
That's
diversity
evil.
doesn't matter because, or like when you talk about race and all that stuff, like diversity doesn't really matter. Like it should just be whatever.
It
you
should
know?
be whatever.
It should just be the diversity that you would even, and you don't want diversity of values either. If you have a group of people trying to work together, it's like the diversity of race and all that stuff doesn't matter, and then also the diversity of values should just be. It doesn't matter. I don't understand.
You
why
want people to
like it so
come
much.
together under the banner of, hey, we all believe in liberty. We all believe in pluribus unum. We all share the American spirit of innovation and entrepreneurship and risk taking and being competent and qualified and going for things. And when there's diversity under that shared banner, it's a beautiful thing. It's like, hey,
exactly.
because that supersedes our other differences. Our shared values supersede our differences. I don't care what color you are. I don't care about your sexual orientation because we have shared values and we're moving in the same direction as a country. The left is trying to make it about the other stuff and put that above the shared values and make diversity itself the ultimate value. And that's backwards. And that's where you get up with racism. I'm not even calling it reverse racism anymore. It's racism.
It's racism. And it's like, what? Are you gonna sit there till you get a black applicant? Are you gonna sit there till you get an Asian applicant? Are
That's
you gonna
exactly
not?
what they do, though.
Are you gonna not put through spacecrafts until you get an Asian woman who's trans and disabled to apply for your job? I don't get it.
All right, Houston, this is your captain speaking. We'd like to take off, but we don't have enough black people on board to launch this rocket today, so we're going to hold off on this momentous flight.
On this plane, I want to have a discussion, but the first one to speak will be all the black trans disabled people who are on this aircraft. Anybody else needs to wait in line.
Well, how do we fly the aircraft?
Excuse me, you're a white man. Please don't talk to me ever.
I don't know how to fly the spaceship.
Please, sir. I feel like you're asserting your privilege onto me, and I'm very, very uncomfortable.
I'm just going to press go.
This is improv with Will and Amala. Birthday improv with Amala.
Birthday improv.
Our skits are now becoming spontaneous.
Right. We're just throwing them in there.
Sentient.
And you know time and time again that this sort of equitable hiring and diversity quota hiring is problematic, and it comes to stealing jobs and stealing opportunities away from people who deserve it. And time again, we've seen that in the Ivy Leagues, we've seen that in our colleges and institutions, especially when it comes to Asian Americans and white Americans with affirmative action prioritizing African American and Hispanic students over people who are perfectly qualified, even go through the standards of these schools here.
Listen, in the NBA, I don't want affirmative action for white people to get in. Okay?
Right.
I don't care about that. Just because there's more black people in the NBA, I have no want to get more white people into the NBA. It means nothing to me what color your skin is. Nope. I care if you're 7 feet tall and can do a spin around dunk.
Yep.
That's what matters to me. All right. If you can do that, then I want you on the team. So I mean, it's all total hypocrisy, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the affirmative action standards we're seeing everywhere in this country.
Yeah, you make a good point with the NBA thing. Notice how it's always one-sided. Notice that, take it in, realize it, and, look at it through that lens, because you will always notice that it is one-sided.
Amala, we're going to wrap up the stream right now. While you open this, I'm going to just tell people about this is our present to you. Okay. Well, she says that I want you guys to go, and there's a link in our caption for this, for a survey that you guys can take, which is a survey about the show, what you guys like about the show, give us your feedback, how much you watch the show, all things like that. We really appreciate it. It really helps us out if you guys can go there, fill out the survey. It only take you 30 seconds, and it mean the world to us. So
I'll post it in the comments now.
Post it in the comments.
As Amala unwraps.
Amala, what did you get?
Funny. Spike ball, baby!
Spike ball! Best game on the planet.
It is literally the best game on the planet. We went to the beach for Memorial Day and we were playing spike ball, and I got so addicted to this game that I would not stop playing it.
It's so good. I got addicted too. I think I played in every single game. I never sat a game out.
You did, which is kind of rude because I wanted to play and then you kept playing.
You could have played too. I didn't sit out one game.
I need affirmative action for spike ball. Will needs to sit down and I need to get in.
Yeah, exactly. That was a little racist of me. I gotta be honest.
This is fantastic. Thank you, guys.
It's a very random gift, but
no, it's not random. We all played it.
I know, but I'm just saying it's a really funny
it's an amazing gift.
Yeah, and we got the patriotic one.
But those are the best gifts when they come out of the person. Yeah, and also it's the American one. So America.
Yeah, and make sure you say thank you to Sabrina too.
I will.
Oh, yeah.
So she's the one who wrapped it. You think I wrapped that good? No way. I was
going to say, this wrapping is way too good for it to be a man who did this.
Exactly. Mine is terrible. So, anyway, guys, we're going to end off the stream today. It is Amala's birthday today, so in honor of that, fill out our survey, buy Otto's Tales, the book. You can get it now on Amazon. We are #2 in children's books. We want to be #1 in Beat Dude Perfect. And I think that's about it today.
Text live to
41776 to get updates about all the PragerU content. But we talked pretty synonymously. I mean,
it's masculine traits. We're competing like men.
Okay, so let me put a feminine touch on it. I'm going to put a feminine touch on the sentences. Live to 41776 to sign up for live updates of when we go live here on YouTube and Facebook. And any other PragerU updates.
Thank you, Amala.
Got it.
You're welcome.
Happy birthday.
Thanks,
Happy birthday,
guys.
Amala. Bye, everyone.
Bye.